Stories help us to understand the world around us. They allow us to laugh, they allow us to cry, they give us the ability to feel and provide us with an outlet to heal. Join me as I get to know some of the amazing people behind the stories that we read in order to truly discover the story that has been hidden within each of us. My name is Bre Smith, and this is the Author Push Talk Show. Welcome to another episode of the Author Push Talk Show. I'm your host, Bre Smith, and today we have a phenomenal author with us. Her name is Different Caldwell. Thank you so much for being on the show today, Different. And she is going to be talking about her book, What If? A Controversial Paradigm Shift. So we are going to let Different introduce herself. We're going to jump right into this book, y'all. Welcome to the show, Different. How are you doing today?
I'm happy to be here. Good morning to you, Queen. Hey to everybody out there watching. Glad to be here. Yes, my name is Different, spelled Different. I'm excited. Thank you so much for having me on here.
Yeah, no problem. So can you tell the viewing audience just a little bit about yourself?
Most definitely. So, like I said before, my name is Different. I'm an author, motivational speaker, and CEO of my own small business, Third Eye Entertainment LLC, a business that strives to bring social awareness to society through our products and services in which educates, inspires, and entertain all at once. I guess a little bit about my background. I'm from Houston, Texas. I'm 32 years old. Um, I don't know. What else you want to know about me? Just ask. I feel like I go off into tangents and get to talking a lot. So, just ask me whatever you want to know.
Yeah. No. Thank you so much for that introduction. So let's jump right into your book.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What if a controversial paradigm shift? So
Yes.
I guess let's talk a little bit about the book. And first off, what made you gravitate towards that title for your book?
Um, well, for me, I guess I have to go back. It's more than for me than just the book and how it stemmed from. This came about for me getting my mental health in check. Um, and I guess so to bring it to how I came about the book would be to go back and say, so if you guys got time to listen, I can share. So like I said, I'm from Houston. I guess in my background, I started off by the age of 11. I had a pretty good upbringing until that time, and that is where me and my family ended up homeless on the street for around 3 years. And it stayed that way, living from pillow to post, literally slept at bus stops, cars, parks, shelters, and at one point even slept in a crack house. Um, and it wasn't until I was the age of 14 when a family member secretly placed me in foster care. They did not tell the other family members where I was for around 6 months. And within that 6 months, I found out that if, in the state of Texas, if you age out of foster care, they would pay for your tuition to college. And so then, right then and there, a light bulb went out in my head, and I just decided to use my street smarts to elevate my book smarts, and made that decision to spend the next 4 years being in the system. That's a whole nother story within itself. Um, but God still had plans for me because I went through that, trial and tribulation, and came out of that and ended up with a full ride to 4-year state university. And I ended up going to Sam Houston State University, and I graduated from there. And within that experience, it was just blessings on blessings. I was able to start my own student organization titled Pay It Forward. And within that, this is where my motivation speaking bug was planted. I would go to different high schools speaking about the importance of education and sharing my testimony. And kids would come up to me afterwards and tell me, hey, I'm going through the same thing, or I didn't know the state of Texas would pay for my college. And so, as well as I got the opportunity to travel abroad. I studied abroad at Kim Young University in South Korea. And within that opportunity, I got to travel to 8 other countries in 2012. And that's where my travel bug was planted. And fast forward to 2023, I'm up by just about 50 countries that I've traveled to. By the time I get done with that, I had my bachelor's degree in international business. I got 2 minors in economics and business communication, as well as I have a master's degree in entrepreneurship. I just got my real estate license renewed, as well as I have my insurance agent's license. Um, but all those blessings is still, as an adult, um, I still had issues to deal with inside me. What I went through in my childhood followed me through my adulthood, to where I was squandering all opportunities that came my way. Coming up in a chaotic environment, chaos was normal to me. And so when I got placed in foster care, it was like a completely different world. I was actually placed in good foster home with Black parents or Black foster parents, who had college degrees and lived in houses, big, nice houses. And that was just completely foreign to me. And so for me, I felt it was too good to be true. And so, my thought process was I'm the captain of my own ship. I decide to where it's time for, to sink it. And so that's what I would do. I would sabotage all the good things that came to me and that followed me throughout high school, college, and into my young adulthood, and to where I was squandering, career opportunities that came my way because I didn't feel it was good enough for me. There was one that set heavily on my mind to where I had a meeting with a well-connected person, and I just let those demons in the back of my head get to me, telling me, "Hey, you're not good enough. They're just taking mercy on you because you're a foster kid." And so I purposely showed up late to that meeting, and it just left a sour taste in that person's mouth. And years later, here I am sitting back, looking on it, regretting it, wishing, shoulda, coulda, woulda, until I had to face the ugly truth. I had to look myself in the mirror and say, whatever I went through as a child, it wasn't my fault. It was out of my control. But as an adult, it's on me to fix that problem. And
Yeah.
so I had to face that ugly truth and just tell myself that, although Black people don't do therapy, this Black girl is gonna go do some therapy and get her some help and get her mental in check. And that's just what I did. And so getting real with myself and talking with a therapist and being consistent about it as well is what led me to writing my book. That therapist encouraged me to get back into journaling, and that's where it started. And as well as being stuck in the house for the pandemic, couldn't go anywhere, and so that fed into my depression. And here it is, a couple of months after May 25th, 2020 happens, the day that George Floyd dies. And, he's from, we're both from Houston, excuse me, Houston, Texas. I'm from Fifth Ward, he's from Third Ward. And so his protest was right down the street from my house. And so I wanted to get involved. I wanted my voice to be heard, but when it all came down to it, I couldn't. I just felt that if I'm going to, have my voice being heard, I wanted to last longer than the protest, then after I'm gone. So that is where, I started to think, pray and meditate and ask God, what is it that I can do, to have my voice being heard that's going to catch people's attention as well as put me on the map. And slowly but surely, he started showing me, little things here and there. I was watching the movie A Time to Kill, one with Matthew McConaughey and Samuel Jackson. And towards the end, I don't know if any of you seen this or not, but towards the end, when he's giving his closing arguments, and he's asking these questions, what if, this little girl was beaten and raped? And then he asks that question, what if she was white? And, that shocks them. And so that's also where the inspiration stemmed from, just asking these questions. What if, this happened to you and your people instead of mine? And what if this was still happening to you and your people? Would you be okay with it then? How would you feel about it then? Was it justified? And if not, then why would it be justified for it to happen to us and not to you? And so the way that I've constructed the book is,
Hang on one second. Hang on
yeah,
one
yeah.
second. I want to you said a mouthful, okay?
I know I talk a lot and fast.
I love it. I love it because I'm gonna break it down just a little bit. So, like,
Yes.
I love how you talked about because I think we shared our stories before, but I grew up in an abusive household.
Yes.
And so carrying that childhood trauma into my adult years,
Mm-hmm.
around 2020, around that time where it was like, okay, I got married, and then it was like, oh man, now I'm having to face reality of, okay, not only this relationship, but I'm also having to come face to face with myself and the ugly truth about myself, and not realizing that the childhood trauma. So I believe in that. I'm all for Black people, especially us, because
Yes.
we're so traumatized getting therapy. And I think, because like I said, a lot of people don't believe in it, especially in our community. And then, add the church proponent to it. And then it's like a lot of people in church be like, nah, it's just
All you need is Jesus.
right.
But sometimes it be God leading you to that.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm like, God literally led me there. He said, sis, you need therapy. Go to therapy. It
Yes, ma'am.
part of my deliverance. And so I commend you for that. But then I want to talk to about that self-sabotaging spirit, because I think a lot of us have that too. Because I know I have it. You know what I mean? Like where you will sit there and just squander opportunities, be like, oh man, and then like you said, it's almost like a condemnation will come upon you to the point where you feel like, oh man, and you beat yourself up about it instead of just being like, you know what, that's a lesson learned, and let me move forward and let me keep trying. And so yeah, I think a lot of us, we got to learn that. And then I love how you learn to take personal responsibility. Like, yeah, that happened to you as a child, but I'm taking personal responsibility. I'm an adult. I can't allow this to affect me. And so I love that. I feel the exact same way as that. So I was like, man, since you hit on some really good points, but then I love it too. Like I said, when you talked about how in this journey you were able to write your story, right? And even asking those questions, what if? Because you're right. If the tables were turned, how would you feel? And I don't think our white counterparts really have that, they truly understand that. Some think they cool and some of them think they know. But I'm like, no,
you don't know the real story.
Right, you know what I'm saying? They may experience it a little bit if they have a Black child, you know what I mean? But even then, some of them still, like, oh,
like to turn a blind eye and look the other way.
Well, they're gonna be
so, and that's exactly why I've written it in this form. Is eye-catching, it's thought-provoking. It will rub some people the wrong way. But I want to stem back to what we said in regards to, coming up in that environment, in a chaotic environment, and having that notion in the Black community of, what goes on in this house stays in this house. And I think a big part of my business, well, I don't think, I know, a big part of my business with Third Eye Entertainment is that we push and advocate for mental health wellness awareness, and especially in the Black community, especially with women. And I just want to take this time to reach out to anybody out there watching and listening, and to know, and please understand that if you're going through any type of mental anguish, stress, illness, being depression, anxiety, bullying, having suicidal thoughts, please know that it is okay to not be okay, but never, ever, ever sit there and not be okay. Go get help. Go talk with somebody, a family member, a therapist, a friend. If need be, getting on medication. It's like that for some people. Picking up hobbies, cutting people off, do whatever it is that you have to do to keep your mental health in check and not go off the deep end and possibly take anybody with you. I've noticed that, hurt people hurt people. And so when it comes to, getting your mental health in check, it's not just about you, it's about saving others as well. And so for those out there that may need it or know somebody who may need these mental health resources, please feel free to share it with them. The crisis hotline number is 1-800-273-8255, or you can call or text 988, or you can text 741-741. And for those that would like to, you guys can go online and visit mentalhealthishealth.us, or you can visit 988lifeline.org. And please remember, although I am giving you guys these mental health resources, it's on you to do your own homework and your own research and find what works best for you. Because at the end of the day, you guys are the captains of your own ship, and you decide where to navigate the water, as well as whatever trial and tribulation you guys may be going through out there. Please know that this too shall pass and you will get through it. So going off the deep end is not an option. It's not worth it. So don't do it. Okay, so I digress on that. I just always want to make sure I share that piece of information with those out there. Now, going back to the book, this is exactly why I set it up in this way and in this form, is to catch those who like to turn a blind eye, is to catch their attention and make them think, hey, what if this was to happen to our people? I have it, like I said, set up in four main paradigms. I have historical, political, precedent, and hypothetical. And with the historical side of it, it's just, detailing and, like I said, an erase role reversal of all the events and historical deaths that have occurred in the African American community. So for instance, right off the bat, when you turn the first page in historical paradigm shift, you see me asking the question, what if in 1619 Africans started dealing in illegal slave trading, whereas they kidnapped millions of English women, men, and children and brought them on slave ships to America? And then you would see that provocative and graphic illustration of, white slaves in shackles and chains and being whipped by slave ship owners, and some of them jumping from ships like we did. And so it's basically, none of the things I'm saying is false. These are true events that have occurred in America. These are factual, things. Only thing is that it's just a race role reverse. It's just different skin pigmentation. It's just flipped. And so, and it's the point of the book is just to get that conversation rolling that needs to be had. And often, in my theory, when we have these conversations consistently and keep pushing for, change, or talking about, accountability and acknowledgement of the wrongdoing that's still ongoing, not just with the past, that's still ongoing. And then, in my theory, that is where we can see, systemic change over time. I'm well aware that it's, change doesn't happen overnight. It takes more than one person, complaining and moaning about the issue. It's going to take, multiple people from multiple backgrounds, not just black and white, to come to the table and have these conversations that need to be had, as well as for those, that have common sense and that are mature enough, and as well as, again, be advised that this is a sensitive content. I do have the parental advisory sign on the book. But for those that are mature enough and have common sense, be it black, white, brown, yellow, whatever the case may be, that understand between, the first three paradigms, hypothetical, political, and president, and they can make it through to, excuse me, a hypothetical paradigm. They will see it's not just about pissing people off or rubbing people the wrong way. I'm talking about unity, coming together as one, accountability, acknowledgement. I not only just mentioned, black and whites. I pay homage to Native Americans, Muslims, Hispanics, even the LGBTQ community are included in this book as well. And so, for those out there that are, mature enough to handle it, please go to my website, differenceworld.net, and get your copy of it. I often tell people, if you can't take the heat, then don't bother coming to this kitchen. But I'll switch it up and say, if you can't take the heat, still come on to the kitchen. Just get your little fire blanket. You'll be okay. Because that's the point of it all, is to have these conversations that, people like to turn a blind eye to. As well as, I also want to know, for anybody out there that may be feeling or thinking that this book is like a tool to inspire, radical black people to uprise against the white community. No, it's not. Please stop that. It's just simply a book that pushes that envelope and gets the conversation rolling. And the reason, and you asked earlier, what made me come up with the concept of controversial? Well, looking back on it and doing my research and seeing, the TV shows they have out there, uh, society likes controversy, whether we want to admit it or not. It gets people attention, they gravitate towards it. So that is why I chose the controversial route, because it would get your attention. But for those, like I said, that read on through the book, and they will see it's not just about rubbing people the wrong way. They say in writing that's that attention grabber. And so I went the controversial route to get your attention. And now that I have it, listen up. And so that's what it's all about. It's just, coming together, having that talks that need to be had. And like I said, I'm well aware that change doesn't, happen with just one person. It's not going to happen overnight. But what if, Bree, what if this was the generation that plants the seed for the next, or the next generation? I see it happening. I just don't see it happening overnight. It's going to take some time. And so that's why I encourage everybody out there, that's a part of the community, the Black community, to get this book, read it and share it with others, have the conversations, post your reviews. I'm looking to you guys, my target audience, to help me, spread the word, because of course they're not going to want to pick up the book and read it. But unfortunately, at the next protest that we have to have of an unknown Black person, I want you guys to show these illustrations, and hold them up high so they can see what it is that we are going through and what we feel. And maybe then they will start to understand.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I love it. The entire time you was talking, it was like God was downloading to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you've ever thought about this, but I really see you doing activism.
I feel
Like,
that as well, but I feel like more of a motivational speaker,
you don't
just
want
to
to be
touch
no Black
off.
activist, because the way that it is, like, for real, like, I really see you getting out there. And I don't know if you've thought about even like sharing your book with some Black activists.
I thought of it.
Yeah, like sending your book to some Black activists. I'm seeing you doing TED Talks. Our
Yeah,
white
yeah,
girls
yeah. Hey,
who
speaking into
do
existence.
TikTok. But no, for real, I literally can see you doing a TED Talk about this. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And from that really growing, and I even see you like on TikTok. I don't know if you got like little TikTok reels.
I'm learning
Yeah,
it.
yeah, but like literally getting this out, because I really feel like this needs to be a part of the conversation.
Yes.
And I feel like this is the other side of the activist part. And I know you say a motivational speaker, but I'm telling you, I really feel Black activists.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
know, pray about it, think about it, meditate on it. But
Yeah.
I
Hey,
really,
who knows? If it's in the cards for me, definitely.
yeah, I really see you doing that. I'm telling you, because this
Yes.
book, like, when you were describing it, I'm like, people do need to hear this book.
Hmm.
Like, people need to hear this book. And like I said, even if you're not going to be like the activist, like if you could just get it out to some Black activists that are prominent in the community, you
That's a
know,
good idea.
so that they can start talking about this book and bringing this into conversations. I know a guy I interviewed last year, actually here in the DMV. He has a company called Truth Be Told, and
Mm-hmm.
uh, he talks about Black history, right? Like the facts
Mm-hmm.
of African Americans here, you know, what happened during slavery and things like that. Powerful story. Didn't even know half the stuff that took place in the DMV. But like
Mm-hmm.
connected with more people like that, and even in the African American Museum, you know, like really just getting it out, like pushing.
Yeah.
I
Oh
really,
yeah, definitely.
I really see that being a part of the conversation.
Definitely. And thank you for that. That's like you playing the bud in my ear. See, now I got to go get online and search Black activists now. Thank you.
You're welcome. No, for real. I love it. I love it. I love it. So what's some next, like what are your next steps? Like what do you plan on doing?
Well,
Book
I've
or your
been doing
business?
some speaking events, virtual speaking events right now, as well as building and dropping vlogs for my YouTube channel. Right now, I'm trying to build up subscribers to my YouTube channel. With that being said, you guys, please go to my YouTube channel and subscribe. Difference World YT, come and learn. Um, I like to think of myself as an eclectic woman. I'm not just about, talking about systemic racism and pushing for social awareness. Like I said, with Third Eye Entertainment, we're all about entertaining, educating, and inspiring. So when you go to my YouTube channel, you'll see I have a content schedule. I do motivational vlogs, social awareness vlogs. I drop my podcast interviews as well as pop culture reviews and my travel vlogs to entertain and inspire those out there that have not traveled the world. Like I said, I've been to just about 50 countries. And so I dropped my vlog sharing. I just dropped Rome last week, Cairo. Go check it out. That's why you guys, like I said, my tagline is come and learn. And so go to Difference World and come and learn about your girl. What else I got going on? Uh, my motto is manifest, plan, and prepare. So right now I'm manifesting, planning, and preparing to get on the Roland Martin Unfiltered podcast. I feel that that's one of the next step where I should be, where I belong, as well as to push this book. That he has a huge platform of people that would understand where I'm coming from. And so manifest, plan, and prepare is what I always tell people. And the story behind manifest, plan, and prepare, it stems from my life and what I went through and how I realized the power of manifestation is real, as well as with the power of tongue. Um, I realized that when I manifested my worst nightmare into existence out of thin air, and I told myself that if I can manifest my worst nightmare, why not manifest my biggest dreams? And so when I say manifest, that means removing all the doubt, all the fear, all the naysay out of your mind and reprogramming it to a positive one. Believing in yourself, believing in the universe will give you what you need. Uh, um, and as far as planning goes, getting it out on paper, coming up with a plan of action, writing things down, putting pen to paper, and having, multiple backup plans, exit plans. You can't plan for the unknown, but you can expect that it is coming. And when it does, you just have to, be mentally prepared that whatever you're going to go through, you will get through it and it too shall pass. Now, as far as preparation side goes, that goes into a little bit of what I said earlier when it comes to getting your mental health in check, your spiritual health, your financial health, your physical health, cutting people off that mean well, cutting, mending broken bridges so that whatever it is that you're manifesting and planning for, when it comes to you, you can be prepared for it. You would know how to handle it and you wouldn't squander it like how I did in my early 20s. I had a lot of good things coming my way and I squandered it because I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't feel that I was worthy of it or that it was really truly going to last a long time. So I just, sabotaged it so would nobody have to hurt me. And so when I say manifest, plan, and prepare, that's what I mean by that. Get it out and see it in your mind, write it out on paper, and then prepare for it to come because it surely will. And so that's just what I'm at with it right now. I haven't made it big time yet, but I know that it's coming because I'm keep pushing forward. I got people like you that's rooting for me and in my corner, and as well as I just want to take this time to give you your flowers and give you a shout out. I see you doing your thing online and you just pushing for greatness, and you're gonna get there as well. I see it happening for you too. So keep doing your thing, and that crown on your head, you are rocking it oh so well. I heard you just got a birthday, so I know you were partying, had a good time. I can see you with your long hair flipped. You were doing your thing. So, and then so keep shining on them and keep putting pressure on their neck. And I'm going to do the same.
Yes, sis. Thank you for that. I love it. I love it. I wish more of us would learn to come together.
Yes.
It's like we got so much, what I'm saying, hate out there from the world. What I'm saying? We got to learn to love each other. You know what I mean?
And in reminding each other that we're kings and queens,
yeah.
and as well as that's why I put salutations when it comes to our people. Always yes ma'am, no ma'am, because there was one point in time in history, we didn't get that respect that white people automatically get. At one point in time we were considered dog food, and so or a 20-year-old white boy back in the day can get away with calling a 60-year-old black man boy, and so with our people it's given automatically. Even if they don't give it to us, we need to give it to ourselves and remind ourselves where we come from. We have bloods of kings and queens running through our vein, and let us not forget it. So again, I just want to thank you guys so much for having me on. I truly appreciate it. You guys don't forget, go to my website, differenceworld.net. You can check out all my other social media handles, my Instagram, my Twitter, and I'm learning IG. I'm learning TikTok, so I'll be on there shortly. But definitely go to my YouTube channel and subscribe. That's where I'm at most of the time. Difference World YT. Come and learn. As well as don't forget to go to my website, differenceworld.net, and get a copy of my book, What If? A Controversial Paradigm Shift, and please leave me reviews. I definitely appreciate all the love and support. Thank you, Ms. Bre, for having me on the show. Big shout out to you and yours. And, like I said, keep shining and keep putting pressure on their neck. I truly appreciate it. And remember, you guys out there, whatever it is in life that you are feeling you're destined for, you have to manifest, plan, and prepare for it. And then it will surely come to you guys. Difference World. Come and learn.
Amen. Well, thank you guys. You guys have heard it first. If there's any activists out there, Black activists, please hook up with Different.
Yes.
Get our book. Let's help spread this message. I think you need to be a part of the conversation. And once again, thank you so much for coming on today. Well, guys.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, girl, you are always welcome to come on the show.
Definitely.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us again today on another episode of the Author Push Talk Show. Until next time, bye. Peace.
Stories help us to understand the world around us. They allow us to laugh. They allow us to cry. They give us the ability to feel and provide us with an outlet to heal. Join me as I get to know some of the amazing people behind the stories that we read in order to truly discover the story that has been hidden within each of us. My name is Bre Smith, and this is the Author Push Talk Show.